Welcome to another episode of the Talking Shop podcast, where today myself, Josh from Grand Slam, along with Michael from Medium Rare Cards, and it's Cobb hanging out with us. We're going to talk some shop and blow your minds with some stats. They won't be playing card related tonight. And after this break, Jacob's going to give us the rundown, I believe, of this episode. But after this episode, the Spectra break, it finally filled. So I'm going to rip that right after the podcast. So if you're in that or if you're bored, stay tuned. We'll start another live stream right after this. But Jacob, let's hear what this episode's all about.
All right, well, this week we're going to kick things off with a recap of our weekends like we always do, followed by a fun discussion about the Raccoon that invaded the pitch and is now featured on his very own MLS trading card. What other animals would make the best trading cards, in your guys' opinion? And after that, we're going to go into the hobby news. We dive into PSA's new upgraded card holders, the record-breaking sale of the Wemby Rookie of the Year card, the exciting partnership between Goldin and eBay, and then GameStop's new listings of PSA-graded Pokémon cards. And like Josh said, we're going to go into what's new in the shop, some hits from the shop possibly, and as always, we end with a crazy stat of the week. Michael, take it away.
Yeah, and Jacob, we got to welcome your audience, right? Are we streaming to your
No, I'm not streaming.
feed? Oh, that's too bad. We were
Too
going
good for us.
we were going to talk wrestling the whole time. Anyway, we'll just stick with our show notes. How are you, Josh? How are things at the shop this weekend?
Good. Most of this episode will all be news to me because this is all I have not had my nose down into the news. Friday was Lorcana Chapter 4 release here at the shop, so we were busy all day with that. And then Pokemon was arriving for today. Today was the Twilight Masquerade early release for us here at the shop, so busy with that. The store overall was just busy on Saturday. I had family in town on Sunday and all the other family stuff going on Sunday, so I've been nonstop. Been under the weather with a cold during all that, but I'm feeling better now. So I don't know anything about any of this hobby news, so this is going to be some new stuff for me as well.
Awesome. Jacob, how was your weekend? Anything exciting?
Just took it easy this weekend.
Nice.
You know, I'm getting up in age. With a birthday last week, I'm getting up in age, so I figured I better take it easy my first weekend.
I was wondering if either one of you had heard or had gone to the Hickory Card Show. That is usually a big one in our region. We had a mutual friend there, Jason. He said he had a great show, that it was busy. But did you guys hear anything out of that Hickory show at all?
Nothing specific. Nope. Hickory holds a special place in my heart. That was the first card show I ever did back in 2018. So, yeah, I've always liked that one, but I haven't done it in a while. And I've always said you can throw a rock about it every weekend and hit a card show, within this area, which is a good thing. It's hard if you're trying to schedule your own. We know that from experience, but it's good for the hobby. There's always a card show going on.
Well, I had a great weekend. Piper, our 10-year-old, had a gymnastics showcase. And so just to watch the gymnasts sort of do their thing. And then we have the Olympics coming up in June or July. And just it's interesting, and not interesting like weird, but interesting to think that every gymnast that's ever won a gold medal starts in a gym like that. Like to where they barely know what they're doing. They're sort of tumbling around. It looks really cute. You could tell that there's some girls that are more athletic than others, but it was, I said that to Susan. It's like Simone Biles, who's probably the greatest of all time, started like doing little cartwheels in a gym like that. So, it's always, and then you could say that about Little League and Pee Wee football and golf. And it was just kind of cool seeing and just sort of dreaming out loud which one of these girls may end up in the Olympics one day. So that's what we did. It was fun. But
now I'm just thinking about Ray Lewis playing Pee Wee football.
Yeah, you hear some stories. I went to
No, I'm talking about like 10 years ago, Ray Lewis. I don't know why. That's what popped in my head. Just like prime Ray Lewis playing Pee Wee football.
Oh, well, I mean,
That's just child abuse.
Oh, exactly. It is. I went to when I was at Auburn, Takeo Spikes played for Auburn, and him and I had a couple classes together, and he had a mutual friend that went to high school with him in that class. And Takeo would never sort of talk about himself. Real humble guy. I think he had a pretty good NFL career. He was a middle linebacker.
Yep, I recognize him.
And his friend was like, "Don't let him fool you." He said, I think it was his junior year. It's like we didn't even have a quarterback. We just hiked it to him, and it was. He said it was. Yeah, he says he led his team in rushing. He led his team in tackles. He did punt return, kickoff return, and he said he used the phrase you just used. It was like child abuse. It was like he was just throwing people around.
Yeah,
I think in certain sport. Go ahead.
I've tried to explain to my kids when they have these aspirations to go pro and they're 13 years old, 14. I said, Dad, you never know. You never know. I said, here's how I kind of know you're not going to go pro. If you were able to go pro, or if you had that in your future, the whole town of Rock Hill would probably know who you are right now. You know what I mean? Wow. You just, the ones that go pro just stand head and shoulders, not always physically, but most of the time physically, but also like just ability wise, they just are freaks compared to everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's a little off topic, but one more thing. And also, I was talking about this with a coworker like last week. Like a lot of the kids that start very, very young usually hit burnout by high school, and they're like absolute freaks of nature playing the sport. I wonder how many professional athletes there would have been if they didn't hit that like high school level burnout.
Well, I think more kids are burning out now because they're so specialized.
Right.
Like, Josh and I are sort of close in age, but Josh, you played multiple sports, right?
Baseball mainly. Yeah, baseball is the only one I excelled at.
Yeah, I played multiple sports, and now kids are sort of like they're picking one sport because they want to go and try to get to the next level. But you're right, Josh. It's a very, very small percentage. So,
yep.
Study, do your homework, eat your vitamins, whatever Hulk Hogan said.
Yeah, and then figure out what you're going to do besides sports, because it ain't going to happen most likely.
Well, let's segue onto this other story in the opening rip, which is this Raccoon trading card, which I thought was so cute. Go ahead and pull that up, Jacob. So if you guys are just listening to this, apparently Topps now released this picture of a raccoon, and he ran onto the field at an MLS game. And this is real, right? This is a real card. I'm assuming this is real. This is on Topps's Instagram page. It's fantastic. And so it got me thinking, what other animals would have made or could have made a Topps Now card? You guys,
there's only one answer.
What's that?
Oh, there's more than one.
I'm thinking the Randy Johnson bird.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a good one. Rest in peace.
There's another famous bird. You guys know I'm a golf fan. There's a clip of it, and TPC Sawgrass, the Players Championship, they had this island green, and the seagull grabbed a ball that was on the green and tried to fly off with it after it had been hit, and like ended up dropping it in the water. So he had to place the ball where it was.
They need the curse of the billy goat, the Cubs curse, that billy goat that was, the witch or the voodoo lady or whatever brought the goat to curse the Cubs, and back in the.
I think it made it into an Allen and Ginter set. Didn't Secretariat make it into Allen and Ginter?
Well, that's almost considered an athlete at that point. I mean, did the beekeeper guy, the bee guy in the that's another one. It's like Topps is sitting around the table saying like, we need something short printed we can put in these products. Hey, I got this picture of the raccoon that went out on the field the other day. Perfect. Start printing it.
What else? I knew one of us was going to bring up the Randy Johnson bird. There have been several birds that have been hit on PGA Tour events, it's a gross. It's like thud, and then the bird hits the water. Horses. What else? Who else? There's got to be maybe there's a dog mascot, a famous golden retriever mascot in one of the minor league baseball teams that actually has a card. I think ESPN did a 30 by 30 for 30 on him. Huge story. But I'm sure. Hey guys, in the comments, let us know what famous sport-ish animals would you guys like to see on a card, and let us know in the comments. Would love to hear your take.
Do you think this raccoon would have got a card if they didn't have this kind of iconic little perfect picture of him? I think it came about because someone was like, look at the picture I got. Yeah. That would look perfect on a card, or we need to do something with this picture.
No, it's true. I mean, it is a perfect picture. It'd be tough to get the bird that Randy Johnson hit because it would just be like a pillow, right? It would be the pillow. It would be the down feathers from it. Let's see. We got a comment here. Air Bud says Avery Greenwood.
Fictional. That's fictional.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know in the comments. Would love to get your takes on it. I don't think this is going to be the last animal card we're going to see, especially Topps now. There's a lot of those different moments that get captured during games. So, all right. That was the opening rip. Josh, what's heading to the shop this week?
So there's a kind of a popular Topps baseball product that is launching. Let me pull up a release calendar to make sure I'm not missing out anything. But as you'll see here in just a second, it has arrived. We can't sell it till Wednesday. This is 2023 Topps Chrome Platinum hobby boxes. Beautiful cards, got that throwback look. It's the 1954 card design this year. And so those will be on the shelf Wednesday for sale. About the only other thing, we're not doing Leaf Metal Pickleball. That comes out this week.
Dang it. Oh, shucks.
Up Jacob's alley, Chronicles WWE is this week. Are you getting any of that anywhere, Jacob? No. I got to see. Let me make sure I don't have that coming. Donruss Clearly Football. That's a pretty good product. It's a acetate Donruss football product. That comes out Friday. Yes, Friday. So I would say if you just want to round about Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary Wednesday, Donruss Clearly Football on Friday. And then since the last podcast, I grabbed a few just so people could see it in person. Topps Archive Series, the Retired Player Edition. We still have that on the shelf. We sold a good bit over the weekend. This is a fill-in product. This is a fun product. Do you recognize this, or do you remember anything about this?
Yes.
This has
that box.
This has Wemby. This has Caitlin Clark and CJ Stroud, Bryce Young autos, kind of all those Fanatics exclusives, all potentially in there. Each box has 7 cards, 2 autos. I got some retail in, believe it or not. We got a case of Select Megas and Select Blasters. Those are on the shelf. We talked about this, if you want to see it in person, Leaf Vivid Football.
That is a fun rip.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Those are beautiful. 7 cards, 5 of them are autographed. Everything's numbered to 10 or less. That and much more is on the shelf currently. But Donruss H2, or no, not H2, Donruss Clearly Football and Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary Baseball this week.
Fantastic.
Also, kind of on the same subject, we have a Pop Century opening going up on the channel this week. I recorded it today. Just got to edit it. Opened 2 boxes of Pop Century.
We still have that on the shelf. Got a little bit of that left. That is, Leaf Pop said true.
Y'all better buy it before I do.
Fantastic. And we also wanted to mention there's a card show coming up here in a few weeks, June 8th. You want to talk a little bit about that, Josh?
Tables are almost sold out. If you need a 6-footer, we could probably squeeze you in. That's a good sign that all the tables have about been sold. So now you'll see me start to push it for customer turnout. And so June 8th, Saturday, 9 to 4. If you're a customer, come out to the show. It's right here down at the gym where we've been doing it lately. And you'll see more advertising on it all over social media here pretty soon. But June 8th, mark your calendar.
All right, Jacob, word from our sponsor.
Are you looking to get your cards graded? Well, here at Grand Slam, we've simplified the process of submitting and getting a card graded. All you have to do is drop off your cards and kick your feet up, while our transparent tracking ensures that you are up to date with every detail along the way. When you log into our website, you'll immediately be greeted with each card in the grading process, along with where it's at in the process and its final grade. And with over 1,000 submissions and some of the top cards across the country being submitted through us, we have become a well-trusted source to handle and submit your cards. So you can do more collecting and leave the chore of grading to us. So don't sit on grading your cards. Get them submitted today at Grand Slam, where grading's made easy.
So don't sit on grading your cards. In fact, don't sit on them at all.
Please don't.
Then don't grade them because they're damaged if you sit on them.
Unless you're Bobby Witt or Corbin.
Game worn, baby.
Then you can sit on your cards and dugout. Then it's okay. Jacob, what do you got for us as far as hobby news?
Let's talk about some PSA slab upgrades.
So here's the story, and this comes from Sports Card Investors' Instagram page. PSA President Ryan Hogue announced a significant upgrade to PSA card holders now made with medical-grade plastic, making them 20% heavier and more resistant to heat, UV light, and humidity. Mylar and sleeves are no longer used, enhancing overall durability and protection of the cards.
And you know why they're doing this? So that people can't crack these things open and regrade them.
I was wondering if you were going to take that, but before we jump off that bridge, Josh, do these improvements, you've been very critical about PSA's holder and some of the things that they do these improvements like move you off that line a little bit? It's going to be a little heftier, a little more premium. I know you like the slabs from Rare Edition and tag grading. Those in hand, they feel really great. Do you think this is a good move for them as somebody that's sort of not a real fan of their holders? Is this something that means anything to you?
It's a step in the right direction. I still don't like them. I still think they're ugly. The Doors067 made a comment here. Did the new PSA slabs get rid of that nasty frosted glass look? As you can see from this picture, they did not. Someone brought in an SGC card, SGC10 Pokemon card today, and the holders just look so nice. The glass is so much, or the plastic is so much more like glass and just clearer looking. That frosted glass probably gives that impression, which I don't like from PSA. I respect the label staying the way it has for so long. We've talked about it. It's the old iPhone idea where from across the room, you can tell that's a PSA slab. I get it. They want to stick with that. But Avery says, I like the idea of them being 20% heavier. I agree, definitely, if it gives a more premium, heavier duty feel. But they just need that nice, clear. I even like GMA. GMA is a low-end, bad reputation grading company. Their slabs still look so much nicer than PSA's. I just don't like it. I even like the nice glass-like clear plastic that other companies do more than the tuxedo black SGC. That's just me. I'm probably maybe a minority in that.
No, I love the CSG ones before they merged. I was a big fan of how clean those looked.
CSG. Too many alphabet
You're talking
letters.
about the green ones?
No, they were like a really, really clear plastic.
Right,
And
but
the label was
the
like
green
black and
label,
gold.
Jacob? The green
Huh.
label
Huh.
or just the updated ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, what I saw today, the CGC, I think it was the one that's a big TCG grader. Their new slabs and labels look great, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yes.
Yeah, if anybody's watching this or listening to this and you guys have any sort of design chops, if anybody could throw together what it would look like if PSA and SGC had a baby, what that slab would look like using CSG's glass or their plastic. Look at that. That is
That's what I was talking about.
yeah, that's what came in the shop today, a card from that company. And it's just the quality of the plastic is so good.
It
And
is.
PSA's is probably that good as well. They just use that frosted look. And so it doesn't look as clean and clear.
Yeah.
But their labels, no offense, those labels aren't that good looking. I mean, they're nothing special, but I guess I'm just biased against PSA.
No, I mean, so they've switched labels 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years. Their labels don't have the sort of brand equity that PSA does.
Yeah,
but I never really had a problem with. I've never thought that the PSA slab felt cheap. Certainly, having some more weight to it is going to help. But you touched on this. You opened it. You wouldn't let me bury the lead. They're doing this so that people stop cracking slabs. That's
sure.
I mean, yeah, they can say all they want. Yeah, 90% of the intention behind this is to keep the cards in the slabs. It'll be interesting to see when this stuff gets out into the wild how much more difficult it is to crack these things and how many high-end cards are going to get ruined from people trying to crack.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll see.
It's like that. Andrew says, "How does this do that?" I don't know. Be more specific, Andrew. Are you saying?
I think he's asking how Andrew. If you're asking, correct me if I'm wrong. You're asking how these upgrades to the holder make it harder for people to crack the slab.
Yeah, if that's the question, it's just all the added materials that they use and what'd you say, the Kevlar and everything. I had heard, the only reason I led with that first is because I'd heard that from a friend of ours that said, be very careful if you're into cracking PSA slabs. These new ones are not easy and you're at a higher risk of damaging your card. So I haven't seen anything other than that, which makes sense. I thought, well, man, yeah, if I was PSA, I'd do that in a second, figure out a way to make it harder. It's like when I used to be with the phones into the jailbreaking community. Your iPhone, you could get it jailbroken and allow you to sideload things on there. So hackers would hack it and Apple would patch it. And then hackers would figure out a way around that and Apple would patch it. And for 15 years or 10 years, that's how it went on. So this is going to be a case of if that's the intention, they could make it so that tampering with it causes the card to get damaged. Well, I mean, yeah, but there's going to be a way that someone figures out to crack it without damaging the card. They just want to limit it. And if they can cut it down by 40% or punish the people that try to crack at a card and damage their card, that's just what you get. They're not meant to be broken open. Here's what I think. I guarantee you this happens or has happened at PSA. The conversation of we need to change our labels. We need a more modern label, but we just cannot do it because you can't get away. Then you'd have millions upon millions of graded PSA cards that look this way. And then you'd have a new label and it's kind of like, it really waters it down. And I guarantee you they've struggled over this and erred on the side of let's not change it, which is probably the right decision. But that they would love to update their label, but it's almost like hitting a reset button on your brand. And why break it or why fix it if it's not broken?
Yeah, I think that if they're going to do that, it's going to have to be incremental, right? If you look, oh my gosh,
It would have to be very slow changes over time.
put a die pack in it. Boom. I like it. I like it, Andrew. Run that up the flagpole to PSA.
We need Mark Rober to invent that. You guys know Mark Rober, right?
Yeah.
The glitter bomb, the glitter package bomb.
That would be
We need him to
fantastic.
rig the. You can't even see it, but when you go to crack it, it just powder and sparkles and glitter
Sparkles,
everywhere.
and then it turns your 10 into a 1 automatically.
Your card automatically gets like smoked through the
Cuts it in half somehow.
Absolutely. No, before we move on to this next topic, I do think that they're going to, and they may be changing this incrementally to the point where they're just moving it a little bit at a time, and then when we look back, it's going to be like, oh yeah, that's a different red, or the font is a little bit different, and they're just going to slowly move it.
And that's what they should do. They should, that red, instead of a red rectangle around, maybe give it just slight curves in the corner, modernize the font a little bit. So from afar, it still looks like a PSA card. It still has that PSA feel, but it has a more modern look. I mean, think of all the business you'll get from people wanting their old cards into the new.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, PSA has to be able to crack these as well at some level, because you're allowed to send it back and get it reholdered.
Right.
If your card gets or your case gets scratched. So it can't be impossible to crack it. JP, I did see that. I sent it. I actually put it in the group chat already. So don't text me during my podcast, please.
Guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. And more specifically, if you've gotten one of these new slabs. I know that they're out in the wild. I think they've been sort of beta testing this before this announcement. So if you think you've got one of these new slabs, or if you know you've got one of these new slabs, let us know. Send a picture in. We'd love to see the card that you have in one of these new slabs. All right. Next story here, Jacob.
Well, who would have thought that Wembanyama is in the news once again?
So the story is the Victor Wembanyama Rookie of the Year card has set an all-time record for the highest Topps Now print run. And for you guys who don't know, Topps Now is sort of a quote-unquote limited release. These numbers don't sound limited, but if you take a look at some print runs of like flagship product, 113,000, that's probably in line with maybe a base card of a top rookie in baseball. But it has the all-time record for Topps Now print run with 113, almost 114,000 copies sold in 72 hours, surpassing the previous record held by Shohei Ohtani's Topps Now card. Guys, what do you think about this?
Let me explain for anyone that doesn't know. So the print run is based on how many cards are ordered within a certain time frame. And so if you're not familiar, they'll start the clock. Whoever orders it, once the clock runs out, they stop it, and that's how many they print. So when Topps Now first came out, I want to say like 2020, 2021, maybe even earlier, maybe a smidge earlier than that. It was the first several. The print runs were not big, and so those that got in on it got cards with very short print runs, and their resale prices went boom. And then when people saw, man, I can order this Topps Now card for $20 and resell it for $300, then everyone flocked to it, myself included. I remember I did some trout ones. Me and a friend did some trouts. We each got like 3, and they were $20 a piece, thinking we'll resell these things at some point, and they're probably still around that price, because once everyone finds out that they're doing this, then they rush to it. Too many of them get printed, and then the demand's not there. So that'll be the case, I would guess, with this card, is that there's going to be so many of them out there that it's not going to ever be super, super valuable. But don't they do like artist proofs or like limited runs that are autographed? Or I know they did that originally, like the those Tops Now artist cards where the artists would design them, and then there was a few that were signed by the artists, and I don't know if this applies to this at all. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think if this falls in line with how they've typically done Tops Now, you can order like 1, you can order 5, 10, or 20, and then you get those cards, and they will randomly put like a numbered variation or colored variation of this card in there.
And that's a good way. I mean, that's a great way, because you're like, well, why would I want to jump on there and order one with half of the country? They're not going to be worth anything. Right. But if you have a shot, you're going to get one that's at least got some resale value. But if you're going to get potentially something rare surprised sent to you, then definitely a good marketing ploy for them.
I just think it's crazy that a non-licensed, we talked about this last week, but a non-licensed basketball player has the top holding the record for Tops Now.
Yeah. Well, look at his jersey. He's wearing a Spurs jersey.
He is. And I think what helps here is don't sleep on the fact that this does have the rookie card designation on it.
For sure. That'll help.
So that does help. Look at Andrew dropping some knowledge here.
Oh, I was
2016.
Man,
first year Tops Now.
I know that must have been the first year. So I wasn't here at the shop in the card business until the Christmas of 2017. So really January 1st of 2018. And I know some of that stuff came out after that. Maybe it was the I don't know. Maybe it's just when it really caught a little bit more attention. I just know I have customers that jumped on the train early, and it had to have been between 2018 and 2020, and got like Acuna and Trout cards for $20, and they were selling for $300, $400, $500 because the print runs were so light.
Yeah, JP's. I think I remember I had a redemption in a Hobby Box Series 1. That was a Tops Now card. So it'll be interesting. I think that just the relationship between Tops, the basketball players that it has under its fold, I think the momentum is building toward, and then sort of the decline of the Panini product basketball-wise. I think all roads are leading towards a renaissance in the Tops product once they get that license, that basketball license. I think it's going to be bananas when you start seeing Tops grown basketball again. It's going to be a huge renaissance.
Keep in mind, they use basically the same image for the auto variant that they just sold. Remember the one that had, 189 copies?
Mm-hmm.
And they sold $560,000 worth of them. And then now they've sold 113,000 copies. And you said they're like $20 a piece? There's probably deals on multiples?
I don't know if they're going to average $20 a piece. It's probably closer to, heck,
I'm just going off with like Panini Instant. Like the more you get, the cheaper it is per card. But roughly speaking, that is a lot based off just two simple designs on a card.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just hoping this guy stays healthy.
Puts on a little muscle. Puts on a little weight.
Yep. All right. Next story.
All right. Well, our next story is about everybody's favorite, Ken Goldin.
This guy.
Yes, Goldin joins eBay. Goldin has officially become part of eBay, making a new chapter for the collectibles market. This partnership aims to bring unique collectibles to a broader audience and enhance the collecting experience. That's based on the announcement. That's not what I'm thinking. Josh, what's your take on this?
Has Ken Goldin ever been president of the United States? Because you know how presidents age like triple the rest of us? He looks like he's aged 15 years in the last 3.
Must be the bright lights of Netflix.
Must be the bright lights of his bank vault. I don't like this.
Probably. Any opinions on this? I still can't make heads or tails of why this happened, so I don't have a dog in this fight.
I'm just like, why are the people with all this money not building an eBay site that's not eBay, that's not called eBay, but is for sports card selling exclusively. Like TCG Player, the entire TCG community uses TCG Player. Why is there not an eBay site or an auction site or a selling platform? I know there is. There's some out there that exist. Why are the billionaires not putting their money into growing that rather than taking Feebay, a company that has a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, and just pumping that? Like, I want a website and I want an app that the whole market uses, because people come into the shop and they're like, can you tell me the value of this card? And I say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look it up on eBay, the same thing you can do. And I'm going to filter it by sold listings, and I'm going to use a little bit of experience to try to come up with the best price. I don't have a special way of pricing things just because I work at a card shop. So it's eBay. That's what sets. I say what this card is worth is what the market will pay for it. How do we know what the market will pay to it? We go to the market, and unfortunately, eBay's the market. And I'm just surprised that everyone teams up with eBay, maybe because it's the easiest. It's already huge. But why not all these big talking heads of the sports card hobby get together and create their own card selling platform? And then that's what everyone uses. Everyone at card shows uses this. You know, my name was Collector Connector. That was what I called it. It's an app that connects collectors. Connector collector. Don't steal it, anybody.
Better copyright that.
I think they focus too much on building their own personal brand than trying to think of something that would universally benefit every single one of their brands together.
Yeah, but they're partnering up together with eBay.
No, I know that. That's why this just doesn't really it means something, obviously, but on paper, like, it doesn't seem to mean that much because Goldin has their own thing still on their website. So what's the purpose of partnering up with eBay?
Yeah, guys, in the comments, let us know if you guys. I've never done a deal with Goldin. I've never listed anything on Goldin. So that ultra high end. That's what I feel that they tend to want to market, those high end, ultra rare things. And you go there because there's a little bit of fear on eBay for ultra high end things that you're going to get scammed. And I guess, Goldin has that reputation. Just to me, this doesn't make sense because those are two different audiences. Like, Josh, if you had a client come in to the store, at what price would you advise a customer? Yeah, don't put that on eBay. That's more of a Goldin or Heritage Auctions price.
Over $5,000.
What's that number? So $5,000 and above.
Yeah. Like, we had a customer that pulled the gold Bancaro Kaboom. We graded it for him. It got a 10. You think I told him sell. Now, that was my advice. But you think I told him to put that thing on eBay? Heck no. He sold it at Goldin Auction. Because you know how many times, even outside of this hobby, I've tried selling, because I'm always selling phones and other crap on eBay. You know how many times I've been scammed or tried to be scammed? And I've lost 2 eBay accounts because of scamming and people, pulling crap over and stuff. That was before the card shop, but one was after the card shop when I was still a rookie. But you're not going to have those problems with Goldin or a big auction site like that. So eBay is horrible, and we have a big eBay store that does well. So there's a place for it. It's for a couple $1,000 cards and below.
Yeah.
And And
well, anybody can buy or sell on eBay. You have to get go through an approval process in order to even bid on Goldin.
I think you have to be able to substantiate a certain amount of net worth to be able to bid on Goldin. So that's sort of the
like Josh said, or one of you guys said, it's 2 completely different markets.
It is.
What is the purpose of it?
Yeah. All right. What's our last story? This last story was sort of the lead. This is the thumbnail for the episode. And this is another one that has me sort of scratching my head. So GameStop lists PSA-graded Pokemon cards. GameStop has begun listing PSA-graded Pokemon cards on their website, set to go on sale on May 24th. However, prices are approximately 30 to 40% higher than recent eBay sales, stirring discussions about pricing strategies. Are they all? I thought that they were taking sports cards too. I didn't think this was just Pokemon. What have you guys heard and seen about this?
So I hadn't heard much. Jacob might know a little bit more than me. So is the point that they're listing them for higher than eBay or lower than eBay?
Higher.
30 to 40% over.
Here's the only thing just off the top of my head. I'd rather pay a little more through a reputable company than I would maybe eBay. Maybe that's their logic. We've got a established nationwide name so that people don't have to worry about getting scammed. That's the only thing I could think of. I don't know. This comment says they're trying to change the market. It will either crash the market or go out of business. They're not crashing nothing if their prices are way higher than everyone else.
Yeah, they're going to be stuck with a bunch of slabs.
Right.
I think maybe they're taking slabs and giving store credit and maybe finding some margin there.
Sure.
And then,
but
why not sell they offer? They'd have margin regardless.
Yeah.
A couple things. I know this guy that posted this personally. We link up at Collecticon every year, and he only does TCG, so he probably doesn't know about the sports card part of it. Also, like you guys come from sports cards, I come from collectibles. 6 years ago, I had to go through Toys R Us closing down because they say everything's moving online. And with Best Buy and Walmart recently pulling a lot of their digital media out, I think that GameStop is worried that it's going to end up going the same way for them, and they're trying to find another market. Since their market typically is, for lack of a better term, the nerd market, this is a way that they can still keep their loyal customers.
I would normally agree with you 100%, but their prices would be in line, especially if they're able to use some store credit, trade-in ability to get some of these cards.
Right.
You would think their prices, they're not going to, like Michael said, they're going to be stuck with a bunch of unsold cards because no one's going to go,
I agree.
And they'll have a reputation that GameStop is just way overpriced with their resales, but they could be onto something. I feel like, they're grasping at straws to try to stay in business because the digital download market has to be hurting them. I'll admit it. We buy a lot of games at my house. I have 5 kids that all play games, and 4 of them are old enough to all have their own systems. And when a game comes out, they just ask me, Dad, can I buy the game? And if they're able to, they just go and plug the Ethernet cable in and take turns with the Ethernet cable so it'll download faster, and then they just download the game. And when they get their next system, guess what? That game is right there in their game.
It travels.
So
Yep.
I can see the writing on the wall for GameStop, and so they do need to shift a little bit, but being the highest around is not wise, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, that's what's
if you like graded Pokemon, stay tuned for Hit from the Shop. It's actually Card from the Vault. I picked up a graded Pokemon card today personally, and I'll show it.
Is this the one that we talked about earlier with the slabs?
Nope.
Nice teaser there. Guys, let us know in the comments if you guys are wandering into a local GameStop and checking out their graded Pokemon selection and what that looks like and the prices. One is on my way home from work. I'm gonna probably step in there.
My buddy works with that one.
It'll be interesting. I mean, are they in showcases? Are they in shoe boxes or like 2 rows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they having these displayed where the games were and in vertical showcases like they do at Cards HQ? Most of the GameStops I've ever been to, they're pretty small footprints. And if they start having to display cards, they don't have a lot of room.
Well, see, they got rid of a lot of their game, area, I guess you could say, and they switched over to collectibles a few years ago. This was like right before COVID because they were kind of gearing up, not for, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they had already lost a lot of game space anyway, and now they've already cut back on the collectibles. So I don't know what
They're diversifying their portfolio and adding themselves to yet another competitor to my store. Now I got to deal with GameStop.
Well, let us know. Let us know, guys, if you guys have been to a GameStop searching for graded Pokemon. Let us know if you're seeing just PSA slabs or if they're taking SGC slabs. So interesting to see how that pans out. All right, Josh, what do you got? You teased this card for a card from the vault. Hits from the shop. What do we got?
Yep. So every now and again, I pick me up a Pokemon card to kind of tuck away for a rainy day. This is the one I got today. It's the 2024 Pokemon. Let's see, Jacob, help me out. Is this out of Paldean Fates?
Sure.
It looks like it.
If it's 2024,
Sure.
It's got to be around there.
Yeah. So
that is mean. That's as mean of a Charizard as I've ever seen.
The special illustration,
extra angry.
Yeah. Now,
all I know is it's around. It sells for like $300 to $320. So I like that. Charizard is the Tom Brady of Pokemon cards, and so I pick one up every now and again when I can.
What is the hit rate for a card like that? Like is
Andrew, so Andrew in the chat is one of our Pokemon / sports card experts, so he would know better than me. But yeah, I figured the PAF stood for Paldean Fates. That's why I said that, Andrew. So I was right. Thank you for affirming me. The hit rate is tough. Andrew, give us a breakdown. So this would be a special illustration. So in sports card terms, that would be like an image variation. And so they're shorter.
Is it like a case hit? Would this be like one in a case or one?
Well, there's 6 booster boxes in a case. So
just put that anywhere, Josh.
Andrew, I guess it's already graded. See, it's in the tougher PSA slab.
Break it, you buy it, Josh.
And then hanging out here in the back, that's getting broken right after the podcast. So everything is an SSSSSSSSB case hit these days. So
I love it.
So I'll add that to my little Pokemon Charizard collection that I have.
Okay. I'll show this just since we actually brought it up. Here were the supposed hit rates through TCG Player for Paldean Fates. And it says the special illustration rare, any of them is 1 out of 58 packs. If you want a specific one, it's 1 out of 465 packs.
So and there's 36 packs. What's 36 times 6? That's what, 70, 140, 200. So that's more than you'd have to open up a case and a half to be that 465.
Okay.
Wow.
Number.
Pretty rare. Pretty rare. Good on you, Josh. Go to GameStop and see how many PlayStation 5s they'll give you for that.
I'm good. I already have 3 at my house.
Like Josh said earlier about TCG Player and like a universal sports card market, like I love that TCG Player puts out stuff like this, which would be cool for, I mean, I guess they do it on the back of the box for sports cards, but something visual like this is always nice to see instead of just a list of names and numbers.
Yep, as long as it's accurate.
Whoever's putting this together, call me. You could be my accountant because those sort of numbers, and I'm Asian. Still hard.
Asian.
Hey, guys, if you guys have been with us this long through the episode, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review.
You deserve a reward.
Let us know how we're doing. All right, Josh, let's wrap things up with crazy stat of the week.
All right, you go first. What's yours?
I don't.
Oh,
the dog ate my homework.
There's a ball and you dropped it.
I did.
But luckily, old Josh is here to save the day.
Grizzly Adams has the crazy stat.
There it is, if it'll focus. It says Hank Aaron traveled 11 miles more around the bases than any other player in MLB history. When I first read this, I was like, well, he doesn't lead the all-time home run. But you got to think runs scored. Probably there's probably a way they figured that out. Doubles, triples, runs scored, I guess. But Hank Aaron doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. Probably, right? Maybe not. But I saw that stat. That's 11 miles more than the next person.
That's a crazy stat, Josh.
I have permission. Let me show you this too. I have permission from this person's father to show this picture. I don't know if y'all remember that LaMelo Ball autograph ball I got.
Yeah.
This is like, it's not going to focus very well. She's like the LaMelo Ball super fan.
That's so cool.
Her dad bought, I let her buy that from me. I know that sounds bad. I didn't donate it, but it was my personal one. And they wanted it. And I said, I don't want to sell it. And they really wanted it. So I was down for it. And it was going to her. The dad said that he had bought a painting that was done of LaMelo that, you can see me, big, tall painting. And they took it to courtside or to the game, and hung out and tried to finally got a hold of LaMelo. It's this big, and the artist is someone that LaMelo has do artwork for, maybe. He said that the painting was like $1,000 painting, and they had it and they wanted to show it, and LaMelo came over and was like, does she want me to sign it or anything? And the dad said, no, she wants to gift it to you. And so she gifted it to LaMelo, and of course she's probably thinking, of course dad's thinking like, well, LaMelo's gonna at least hook you up with something, in exchange for it. So LaMelo had someone come over, security and, his guy, and get the painting, and they took it off somewhere safe, because it was really cool, and got a picture with them and everything. And then he disappeared and never gave her anything. No jersey, no sign, nothing. And so the dad's like, I got a sour taste in my mouth about LaMelo Ball, but she was super stoked. So after that, I was like, you want to buy the ball? It's signed. I got it certified recently and had a certificate with it. So that was
she's still a fan. Good for her. She's
still a fan. He said her room is like all LaMelo'd out and everything.
That's super cool. Super, super cool. All right, Josh, again, thank you for spending some time with us. I know it's a long day. You got a break after we sign off here. Jacob, thanks for producing. And guys, thanks for listening and watching. And we'll see you guys next week.
Be restreaming in just a minute for the Spectra. See you in a minute.
See ya.